What happened just after 1936?
Hang on. I'm going to go back to school. Hang on.
19. Let's talk about 1939.
There's a date. That rings a bell. Something happened then.
Something happened that might have changed the state of golf in the world.
Yeah, kind of kiboshed the dream of international golf competition.
And international relationships.
Yeah. Just a little bit. It's tough to travel over to the US when your ship is going to get blown up by a mine.
Yeah. The outbreak of World War II in 1939 brought the world of golf, much like daily life, to a sudden and jarring halt. Across Europe and North America, golf courses that had once echoed with the sound of well-struck drives and the murmur of spectators fell silent. Many were transformed for war-related purposes, while professional tournaments, including the Ryder Cup, were put on indefinite hold. We went to a golf course that was transformed or even like requisitioned during the war at Royal St. Port's and Prince's and Royal St. George's, I believe, as well. Do you want to tell the story of what happened when we came up to that par 3? Is it the 15th at Royal St. Port's?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, Royal St. Port's we were playing, and we'd noticed that there was a police officer on the golf course as we kind of walked around. He was just standing there talking to one of the members of staff at Royal St. Port's. And we're, this is a bit weird. And we got round to that hole and said, you can still play the hole, but we're going to have to ask you to walk, kind of like take a detour effectively around this big bunker because there's a suspected unexploded World War II munitions poking out of it.
It's crazy.
So bomb squads come in, and
It was like, bomb squad's coming at 7, so can you just...
SWAT team.
it kind of sounded like the call had gone in and bomb squad had had this too many times.
Yeah.
They're like,
Oh, God. We can get to you about,
Dave, they found another bomb at Singport. Probably a bit of metal, mate. What time you got? 7? Having your soup? Right, we'll get there 7, yeah. No.
They just get there, no bomb gear, just pull it out. Look at it, it's a piece of old
All right, we'll
junk.
be at 7. Don't step on it. Don't pull it out.
Don't let any golfers hit it.
Yeah, don't just keep those golfers away. It'll be all right.
Yeah, if you'd have topped your tee shot as well, we would have been in real trouble because it was right between you and the flag. Boom. Yeah, I kept the camera rolling just in case.
That'd have been a social content.
So, like, how did it come about that they found this bomb?
It's one of those areas where because it was used for, I'm pretty sure St. Port's and Prince's, they were both used as like training bases.
Practice, yeah.
Well, more Prince's, wasn't it, for RAF, but also as kind of the Germans left and they had unused bombs, they just used to dump them.
Yeah.
And that was kind of one of the areas where they kind of dumped them.
But that's obviously been there for 70 years.
And just uncovered by the elements.
Crazy,
And there will be hundreds more, probably.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. Like in kind of slightly off topic, one of Carly's friends in their flat, they were having a wall redone in their garden, and they found like a proper World War II bomb,
Sick.
unexploded. So they had to close the streets down. They had
Can
to
you
come
imagine
in.
if it goes off?
Oh.
Well, like sometimes when they find them, they're that big that they can't explode them. Like they have to like carefully lift them out. A few years ago, where was it? It was down south somewhere where they had to load it onto the back of a truck and drive it out of the town because it was so condensed and packed that if it went off, it'd just destroy like dozens of houses.
Mad.
It's wild.
Yeah, so lots of courses were taken over by the military. Royal Birkdale and Royal Lytham were converted into training grounds where soldiers practice, battlefield maneuvers. Others, and particularly in rural areas, they were kind of ploughed over. So those courses are just gone and they just grew stuff on them instead.
They also used to, especially ones by the coast, they used to plough the fairways just because like they didn't want enemy planes to be able to land.
Oh, that's smart.
Kind of sucks though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine me, you greenkeeper in the army.
Just watching this.
The army turns up, says, "I'm so sorry. We've got to
Stimp
plough
on,
it."
his stimp on that's 14, mate. You're not ploughing it. You know how hard we worked on
How
that.
gutted would you be?
Yeah, imagine you get there as a member and you're like, bloody hell, I thought maintenance week was next week.
Yeah. Oh,
It's a big maintenance. It's a
They've
big maintenance.
greens. What's going on here?
Hollow time the greens.
Imagine, like golf club members just don't change. They turn up, they're like,
Yeah.
Why
Why are
is
you not
going
open?"
on? I'm not paying my membership fees
Yeah.
to see this fairway ploughed up.
So that was actually the difference between what happened to courses in Britain and what happened to courses in America. So in Britain, the courses were taken over by the military, and so, The old course at St Andrews, basically, they just didn't look after it for the entire war, and it just kind of was reclaimed by nature. But in the US, the Americans didn't enter the war officially until 1941. So there was, they had done, they had kind of like 3 years of keeping their courses running. But the reason that their courses started to deteriorate was due to a lack of funding, because all the men who were playing golf suddenly enlisted in the military and left. So Augusta, is the famous story about Augusta is that it was forced to close between 1943 and 1945 because there just were no paying members to come and pay because they were all enlisted, and they had cows on the golf course just grazing.
Just crazy.
Can you imagine?
Natural greenkeeper.
Yeah. Unbelievable. The war took a particularly personal toll on professional golfers, many of whom enlisted or were drafted. Don't even get me started on the draft. I can't imagine anything worse. These men, once revered for their skills on the course, found themselves wielding rifles instead of golf clubs. Henry Cotton, famous British golfer, a 3-time Open champion, joined the Royal Air Force as an instructor, training pilots who would go on to fight in the Battle of Britain. Despite the war years, he continued to promote golf and organised events to boost morale. And Bobby Jones, a legendary amateur golfer, when we're talking about amateur versus pro, Jones famously never turned pro, volunteered to serve as an intelligence officer in the US Army Air Forces. He participated in the Normandy landings on D-Day in 1944, serving on the front lines in a role far removed from his life on the fairways. Can you imagine being a golf fan, seeing the enemy run to... Oh, bloody hell, it's Tiger. What's he doing here? Lots of golfers found their careers on hold. Some returned from the war and resumed playing at a high level. Others permanently affected by, the scarring mentally and physically from being in a war, never recovered their former skill. Which modern day golfers do you think would be the best soldiers?
Jeez.
Harry Hall.
Oh, God.
He kind of looks
no
like
nonsense.
Harry Hall already looks like a lieutenant colonel.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
He looks tough.
And the name.
Sergeant
Harry Hall.
Admiral Lieutenant Harry Hall.
Lieutenant Harry Hall. Fifth Cavalry.
Keegan Bradley.
Yeah.
Keegan Bradley.
Yeah.
He'd be at the
Captain,
front
yeah.
He'd be,
with the flag.
Him and Patrick Reed just like leading a cavalry of aggressive Americans.
Cavalry, those are the days.
I think John Rahm, if you gave him a sword, would be untouchable. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't see him firing a rifle, but if he had like a sharp Spanish sword,
Yeah.
I feel like you're in trouble.
I'm just trying to think. I'm now going more down on the name route. Of who's, there's that.
Is there anyone called Shooter?
There's that German who's like Nikolai von Helsing. Thing.
Yeah.
Like,
He'd be like a World War One pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
The Red Baron.
yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of good golfing nicknames, which also would be particularly good for wartime exploits. Anyway, back to the Ryder Cup. The Ryder Cup is still in its infancy as an event. Was scheduled to take place in 1939 at Ponte Vedra Beach in Florida. However, as Britain declared war on Germany in September 1939, it became immediately clear that the competition was not going to take place. The world had more pressing matters than international golf tournaments. Further Ryder Cups scheduled for 41, 43 and 45 were also cancelled. While American and British players occasionally held exhibition matches to support war bonds and charities, the fierce yet friendly competition between the two nations was put on hold. When peace was finally declared in 1945, the world was left to rebuild. Britain, in particular, faced an economic crisis. Cities lay in ruin from the Blitz. Food and material rationing remained in effect. Industries were struggling to regain their footing. The idea of British professional golfers travelling across the Atlantic to compete in a sporting event seemed almost impossible. When golf clubs across Britain, many of which had been used for military purposes, struggled to restore their courses to playable conditions. The once pristine greens of places like Wentworth and Muirfield had been left overgrown. Bunkers had been repurposed as air raid shelters, and funding to restore these clubs was scarce. British golf professionals, many of whom served in the war, returned home to find their sport in decline.